Hey, what's up guys? Scotty here. Alright, so today we're going to talk about basically the pros and cons between word of mouth advertising, print advertising, and digital marketing so that you can kind of really see the difference in how to take, a six-figure business, turn it into a seven-figure business, a seven-figure business into an eight-figure business, and so on. So anyway, obviously we're going to start off with word of mouth, and the obvious big benefit here is that word of mouth is free. You're not typically paying for anything in that scenario. You're typically getting leads that have been referred by a previous client, so on and so forth. Um, the second big benefit is that these are usually premium quality leads, right? These people are a lot more likely to know, like, and trust you because they've been referred by somebody who already knows, likes, and trusts you. So they're really good quality leads, very likely to buy. So can't really argue with those 2 points. That's an ideal situation, free and premium. Who can argue against that, right? So if we move to the cons, there are some cons here, obviously. So the first thing is that this is not scalable, right? In other words, there's no way if you're getting, say, 5 or 10 referral leads per month and you wanted to get 50 leads per month, there's no way to scale that. There's no way to increase the amount of leads that you get because you obviously can't control the amount of referrals that people are recommending. So next is that obviously it's not controllable, right? You can't control what you get. You kind of just get what you get, and if you don't like what you get, well, that's kind of too bad, right? So next thing is that it's not reliable, right? If those leads stop coming in, well, then you're kind of just out of luck because, again, it's not controllable, right? So if we move down to print advertising, this is, one of the pros is that it's, somewhat reliable, right? If you're, we're talking about if you're advertising in some type of magazine, if you have an ad in a magazine, or if you have some kind of newsletter, or yellow pages and these kind of things, um, these are usually going to produce consistent leads, right? If you pay a certain amount of money per month to have your ad in a magazine, you typically know what to expect in terms of leads, right? It's somewhat measurable. In other words, if you spend X amount of dollars, you typically have an idea that you're going to get X leads and make X profit, right? So it's somewhat measurable, although it is manual, so you kind of just have to be really good at tracking these numbers to understand those measurements, right? And then lastly, you're getting decent quality leads. This, depending on where you're advertising and how your advertisement is positioned, is going to determine the quality. But sometimes this can produce really decent quality leads, and other times maybe not so much, but certainly profitable in most cases, right? So next, if we move over to cons, same thing, right? It's not scalable because you can't make more people read that magazine. You can't make more people read that newsletter. It's kind of just a finite number of people that receive that advertisement, and that's all there is. You can't scale it, right? Next is that it's not controllable, right? Because if you're getting, again, 50 leads per month, but you want 150 leads per month, well, it's not scalable and it's not controllable. You give X amount of dollars to whoever's doing your advertising, and you get X amount of leads, and it just is what it is, right? Next is that print advertising can be really expensive in a lot of cases. There's people that are paying anywhere from 2 grand a month up to 15,000, 30,000, up to even $50,000 a month, depending on where they're advertising. But in most cases, really, really expensive. So you have to have a pretty decent marketing budget to afford these kind of things in many cases. So last, if we move down to digital marketing, there is, the first thing is that it's cheaper than print. Okay, so not going to be quite as expensive in most cases. Obviously, it's dependent on how you're positioning the advertising, where you're advertising, and what your budget is in most cases. Next is that it is controllable. In other words, if I want, if I want 5,000 people to see this advertisement, I can make 5,000 people see this advertisement. If I want 100,000 people to see this advertisement, I can make 100,000 people see this advertisement. It is 100% controllable. It is scalable, right? Same kind of thing. I can control how many people see the advertisement, and therefore, if I want 100,000 people to see it versus 10,000 people to see it, then I can simply scale that advertisement and put it in front of more people, therefore, obviously resulting in more leads and more sales. So it is 100% controllable and scalable. Reliable, absolutely reliable. Guys, there is, everybody's moving to digital, right? I can tell you that where people are not hanging out is people are not reading the yellow pages. They're not as much going to, magazines and these kind of places. What they are looking at is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Guys, these things are not going away anytime soon. So if you're not advertising in those areas, you are missing a huge, huge opportunity. Absolutely reliable to put your advertisements where people are actually looking. All right. And then, of course, measurable. In other words, we can 100% measure how much does it cost for somebody to click an advertisement? How much does it cost for somebody to visit the landing page? How much does it cost for somebody to actually put in their name, their email, and their phone number and request more information? All this information is trackable, it's measurable, it's very easy to see and understand. So that is very important. All right, and then next, the quality of lead. Now, I'll be the first to tell you that even with digital marketing, you're not going to get a premium quality lead because these people up here, word of mouth is obviously takes the cake in that scenario because it's all about liking and trusting. Okay, even when we're using digital advertising, you still have to build a relationship. These are people that have never heard of you in most cases, and therefore there's a little bit of trust that needs to be built to bridge that gap. However, I will tell you that in most cases, digital advertising is going to be a lot better in terms of quality than print. Why? Because we can actually target the exact type of person that is the most likely to be interested in your particular business or service versus print, where you're just basically putting it in front of everybody and seeing what happens. So that's a very, very powerful difference in terms of digital, is that we can actually place those ads in front of people who want to see them. All right, so if we move over to cons, then the obvious con is that it can be somewhat complicated if you're not tech savvy, right? If you don't have tech experience, if you're not familiar with putting together web pages and putting together code and lead acquisition process, all this kind of things, then it can be somewhat complicated. But of course, that is the reason that guys like me will come in and do it for you. So guys, again, if you are not currently using digital advertising, if you're not on YouTube, if you're not on Facebook, if you're not on Twitter, if you're not in the areas that people are actually looking, then you are missing a huge, huge opportunity. So as always, if you are looking to set up a digital advertising campaign, then all you have to do is click the button below this video, schedule a call with me personally. I will review your business and set you up with a custom digital advertising campaign that will send you more leads than you've ever had. So that's it for now, guys. I hope this was helpful, and hopefully I'll be talking to you soon. See ya.